Hello, Dr. Torres. Today I will be discussing the discrimination at General Electric and human dignity through a black employee named Mark Thomas. So in 2004, Mr. Thomas stepped in as the head of the aviation materials unit for General Electric, which at the time was one of the biggest corporations by market value in the early 2000s. Mr. Thomas was very dedicated, and his work ethic was superior to any of the other employees, nevertheless managers at General Electric. Uh, Mr. Thomas was a huge reason for GE's financial success through both company profits and sales. Mr. Thomas was ranked 18th out of over 350 managers nationwide for General Electric. And despite being ranked 18th out of 350, Mr. Thomas believed that he was not reaping certain benefits that his white coworkers did receive. So, one prime example of this is a lower level employee for General Electric was receiving a salary of over $219,000 annually, compared to $205,000 annually for Mark Thomas, who was the director of his own division at General Electric. So, after bringing these concerns up with HR, Thomas began to receive backlash, and the Human Resources Department was saying that General Electric is an extremely diverse company and that they do not treat employees like this despite Mr. Thomas's claims. So Thomas argued that although black employees were allowed to sit at the table during big company decisions, they never fully had a voice, and this was very concerning to Mr. Thomas, who dedicated his life to General Electric. So Mr. Thomas ensued by filing a federal lawsuit for $450 million, and accusing GE of discriminating against him and other black managers. Mr. Thomas believed that he was trying to set a certain standard for black managers in America, and especially for General Electric. One of the claims by his lawyer was that Mr. Thomas was just another African American manager who could be passed over for promotion and paid less than his non-minority counterparts. The lawsuit also says that Mr. Thomas exemplifies the racial barriers facing GE's minority employees. So GE in court dismissed all accusations against them and claimed that they're an equal opportunity employer and do not discriminate on the basis of race. Yet, me personally, I believe that this is wrong, because Thomas was a man who was very dedicated to his job, and he believed that just because he was black, once he had something to say to the higher executives, they completely shut him down just because of his race. So Mr. Thomas was at General Electric for 3 years before his demise, and he believed that despite his performance, it was his skin color which really held him back from being promoted and receiving the benefits that he deserved. Thank you.